Salutations, my friends. I'm so happy to have you back with me again, or maybe visiting for the first time. Hey, all are welcome. Are you starting to feel a little tense? Then this is the episode you need. And I'm even giving a no politics guarantee for this episode. The holiday season is upon us again, which doesn't feel right since we're like having this seriously warm autumn in my neck of the woods. And I guess now I know what the weather is like for people in the South this time of year. It's really throwing me off. I'm not ready to get into the Thanksgiving, Christmas holiday, especially Christmas. It's just way too warm to think about that kind of stuff. But I do know the holidays often mean plenty of stress, and perfectionism is running rampant this time of year, no matter what the weather is like. Let's all just take a moment for a deep breath. We're going to go in and out nice and slow. Join me, please. In, out. Make sure your shoulders are going down. Let them go slack. Maybe you're starting to feel just a little better. Today, I am chock full of good news stories and tips for getting you through this time of year. Whether you celebrate the holidays or not, I've got suggestions for all of you. So relax, put your feet up, and escape for a few minutes to a happy place. Welcome to Jacqui Just Chatters. Thank you for joining me. I'm your hostess, Jacqui Lents, and I'm trying to make the world a little better, one story at a time. Whimsical episodes come out every other Tuesday. What's your story? If you've got one, reach out via my website. Now let's get chatting. Okay, so I have a bunch of tips and lots of uplifting news stories. So I'm going to be going back and forth. I'm going to start with the ultimate lost and found story. This comes from Maureen Lawler from McMaster University. That's in Canada, if you don't know. Morgan Fargo, an alumni from McMaster University, just turned 83 years old. And boy, did the universe have a surprise gift in store for him. It wasn't something new, but something old and special. In 1977, when Fargo was on a trip to Barbados with his wife and children, his young son was getting knocked over by a wave. Of course, he ran over to grab hold of his kid to help stabilize him, but his son was pulling and grasping his hand and pulled off Fargo's McMaster's graduation ring. They searched for it afterwards, but to no avail. They had to return home without the precious ring. Fast forward to the present day. Alex Davis had in his possession a new toy, an underwater metal detector. This professional freediver happened to take his metal detector in Barbados and played around and found a ring. Using the name of the university and Fargo's initials, which were engraved on the metal, he took this information and Davis contacted McMaster University. Then they helped match the ring to its owner. It arrived the day before Fargo's 83rd birthday, certainly making this a year to celebrate. I love stories of old things finding their owners. It's just a great thing. Here is my first de-stress tip. Remember, comparison is the thief of joy. You don't have to do what some TikTok YouTuber has done or follow some crazy 18-step recipe you found on Facebook that says it's simple and it's not. Martha Stewart has like a team working for her. And don't they say less is more? Cut some things off your holiday to-do list. Ask others to help out. If you got kids, get them involved. I often had to vacuum the entire bottom floor, clean a bathroom, right before my family came over for a get-together. I survived, and so will you. I've got some more tales of happy things for you. This comes from the United Press International, and it is probably the cutest story today. Oh my God, it's adorable. I grew up with Paddington Bear videos and books, and I have a seriously soft spot for that marmalade munching animal. Rob Silva, the co-producer of the upcoming film Paddington in Peru, contacted the British Home Office asking for a replica passport that they could use in the filming. The Home Office not only complied, but did them one better. They sent to Silva an official passport for Paddington. It gives his birthday as June 25th and his place of birth as Peru. This just tickled me pink. I love the fact that Paddington has a real passport. Oh my goodness, I love it. I hope you like that too. In other movie news, you may or may not have heard of the film Woman of the Hour. It is about the true story of a woman who selects a man on the 1970s TV show The Dating Game to go out with her. What she doesn't know is this man is a serial killer who targets women. Yeah, this all really happened. I know none of this sounds like good news so far, but Anna Kendrick, who stars in the leading role, announced in an interview with SiriusXM that she pledges to donate all money earned from the movie to nonprofit groups that help victims of violent crimes. Go, Anna. You are going to help a lot of people. I think that is wonderful. Here's another tip for my frazzled friends. I enjoy listening to a podcast or audiobook to help distract me when I'm working through my to-do list. I have a holiday-themed one that is perfect for this time of year. This podcast is called It's a Wonderful Lie. I will put a link in the episode notes. This show has 3 friends who read a real-life Christmas letter sent in the mail, and then they break it down. Their commentary is hysterical. I have gone through this podcast several times. There's only 2 seasons, but it's totally worth listening to all of them. My favorite is actually the very last one they recorded called Lucky Day Lotto. Holy cow, my husband and I were howling. I find it very uplifting, so I hope you will too. My next 2 stories are about the power of community. First comes from the Daily Record. Ada Hawkins is a 6-year-old girl living in a Scottish town. She's also deaf. Like many children in the deaf community, she's never gone trick-or-treating because of concerns about communication difficulties, and parents don't want to stress out their children, but many of them want to go on this childhood rite of passage, and can you blame them? So a packet was sent out to her neighbors to help them learn some basic British Sign Language, including things like trick or treat, your costume's spooky. Many of them were happy to get involved. This year, Ada was able to go house to house to grab her some Halloween candy and connect with her neighbors. I truly believe people are basically good. The next one also comes from the UK, and this is shared by BBC Yorkshire. If you find yourself near Sheffield, England, at the White Swan pub on a Thursday evening, you could ask a group of gentlemen if you might join them for a pint. In a corner of the pub, every Thursday, sits a group of 6 friends who have been meeting weekly for 56 years. These pals and their bonding time are so fixed in their lives that one member joked, you basically need a written note to explain why you have to miss an evening. I think all of us could use a collection of friends that goes back over 50 years and know that every week this group will be happy to see you. We all know that loneliness is a problem, and I just love this story of connection, and I hope it inspires you to find something that you can do on a regular basis to connect with people. Do you make yourself and joy a focus during the holiday time? Put a few fun things on your to-do list and make sure they are a priority. If you're not enjoying the season, then seriously, what's the point? One of my must-happen items is to go for a drive at night to see my neighbor's Christmas lights. It makes me happy. I love to see the lights twinkling in the night sky. If there's snow, even better. So I make sure this gets done every year. Maybe your thing is to do a charity run, wrap presents, bake cookies, or something more elaborate. I don't know. Here's a story of somebody making time for themselves. Gary Christensen in Oregon goes for a trip down a river at the end of October for the West Coast Giant Pumpkin Regatta, which he has won for the past 4 consecutive years, according to UPI. The name does explain it. People take giant pumpkins, hollow them out, sit in them, and paddle down a river. Christensen this year steered his 1,214-pound pumpkin for 45.67 miles. The journey took a freaking 26 hours. I can't even imagine doing that. But he is now the holder of the Guinness Book of Records for the longest paddling journey by pumpkin. The previous record was 39 miles. How is there even a record for this kind of thing? But you know what? They've got records for all kinds of crazy stuff. It's pretty wild. But not all joy comes from big actions. Sometimes they come from little ones, like being greeted by name with a friendly face. Student at the Swedenborg District 3 Elementary School in Missouri, were graced with such a welcome by Claudine Wilson. According to CNN, she served the tiny town and school as custodian, handywoman, plumber, and bus driver for over 30 years. The school board president remembers when, as an 8th grader in 1992, Claudine started her career. His 14-year-old son now is a student there with his own connections to Claudine. To honor Wilson's service and kindness, the building has been renamed in her honor. If you find yourself on their one-county road with a single gas station, you will see the newly named Claudine Wilson Learning Center. I get all kinds of good feelings when a community takes the time to recognize the extraordinary in the ordinary. Are you a Halloween lover who takes their seasons with a little darkness and isn't quite ready to let go of all things spooky, even though it's Christmas time? The H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society has the perfect songs for the season for you. They come from their album, A Very Cthulhu Christmas. It includes tunes like All I Want for Solstice Is My Sanity and I'm Dreaming of a Dead City. I highly recommend checking them out. Maybe you don't celebrate Christmas, or perhaps it is too difficult this year for you, and that's okay. But you also need a winter escape that helps lift the soul. I have a quirky list of winter-themed movies to distract you. First is the underdog story from Mystery Alaska. Even if you don't like hockey, you'll love the small-town vibes coming from this film. If you are more of the sci-fi fantasy bent, try the classic Empire Strikes Back. Visiting the planet Hoth will get you stoking your fire and making a soothing cup of cocoa in no time. If you want something more with a woman in charge kind of vibe, check out Molly's Game. Skiing scenes and lots of gambling will give you a winter rush. There is the family-friendly Cool Runnings. That thing never gets old. Or if you want something on the quirkier side, try Fargo. Remember, it was a movie before it was a TV show. Or a Michigan cult classic, Escanaba into Moonlight. I'm just not going to say anything about it. Just go watch it. It is quirky as anything. If those don't work, try some soothing activities to help slow you down. Try a coloring book. You can steal a page from one of your kids. They don't have to be one of these fancy adult ones, but if you got one, go for it. Write in a journal by candlelight and pick some great mood music to go along with it. Make the whole thing an event. Pour yourself a glass of wine, got the candles, got your music, get a fancy journal, go to town. Or go for a walk, or lock yourself in with a long bath and a book. It is okay to take time for yourself. I give you permission. I'm going to sign the form. It's okay. This is going to be my last recording for 2024. I'm taking podcasting off my plate so I can enjoy the holidays and not over to my list of things that need to get done. Because I understand sometimes you just got to say no to something. I will be issuing some flashback episodes in December in case you missed them. Also, I've created a playlist on Spotify. It is called Jacqui Just Chatters Succulent Wild Women. It is a soundtrack for a woman's life. Because, after all, we are the heroes of our own stories, and we deserve a soundtrack. I will put a link in the episode notes. I will also put links in for some other feel-good stories that I found. There was so much good news out there, I couldn't fit it all in this episode. If you are enjoying this podcast and want to give me a free Christmas gift, tell a friend about Jacqui Just Chatters. Word of mouth is the most effective advertising in the world. Thank you for a wonderful season, and I look forward to my next and hope to see you there. I've got some fun ideas already in motion. Until I chat with you next, I wish you well.